Alright, so some of you have been asking about making a video for basic combos, so this is what this video is going to be about. The whole idea of this is to kind of list out and explain not just basic combos, but Millia as a character in this game has some of the highest amount of like character-specific stuff to learn. So the purpose of this video is to just explain the combos that are like the most universal. Like, she doesn't really have any universal combos, but the ones that are like the most consistent and universal and not like too specific. So if you do want something very, very specific, like fully optimized combos that work on like every character or that are specific for each character, then there's actually a resource available. So you need to look at Blitz's channel. So if you've watched any kind of like Plus R tournaments since the rollback patch has dropped, then you'll definitely know who Blitz is. He's a player who shows up a lot of tournaments, does really well most of the time. So Blitz is Radical Designs on YouTube, and he has a playlist that has recordings of like fully optimized combos on each character. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, then go ahead and find it. I have a link to the YouTube description. But anyways, this video that I'm doing is more about basic combos and combos that are just pretty universal that work on most characters and explain the whole theory behind them. So Millia's basic combo theory all revolves around this move and the fact that she can air dash cancel normals, okay? So the idea with her combos is you launch the opponent in the air and then using your air dash cancels, slowly bring them closer to the ground. And the idea is you want this move, this helicopter move, j.to.h, hits 3 times, but it doesn't have that much untech time. So the idea is you want the third hit of this to connect with your opponent as low as possible in the air. Okay? So unlike the other video I did on Millia, this video is actually going to have combo annotations. So the combos will be written out in the video description, and they should also be available in the chapters. So if you mouse over the what is that? The progress bar, or the scrap bar. I forget what it's called on YouTube. But if you mouse over it, it'll also show you the chapters. So one thing I want to explain in the combo notes is, what does Ender mean? So Millia's combos, a lot of them look something like this. Okay, they look something like that. So basically, if the combo is done perfectly, or if everything goes right, then Ender is literally nothing. Just a j.to.h and nothing. However, sometimes that's not going to happen. Sometimes your j.to.h, the third hit, is going to connect like a little bit too high in the air, and your opponent's not going to get knocked down. So there's a couple of ways you can fix the combo to ensure the knockdown. So in those cases where your j.to.h is not going to knock down, there's basically 3 things you can do, but they all require resources. So out of those 3 things, 2 of them require meter, 25% meter, and the third one requires the pin. So, for example, you think that your j.to.h is not going to get knocked down, then this is what you do. You land, you do 5S into Lust Shaker, and then you do the Longinus follow-up. So something like this. Okay, you do that. So that's one option you have if you think your combo is not going to knock down. Another option you have, usually this happens if your opponent is high up in the air, and you don't think your j.to.h third hit is going to knock down, then you use air FB disc instead. You do something like this. Something like that, right? Air FB disc, then just a 6H to get the knockdown. And then finally, the last way you can get a knockdown is by using pin, which is the most preferred method, but again, pin is a resource that you don't always have, right? So something like that. Okay, so that's what Ender is. Ender, if the combo is done perfectly and you think the last hit of j.to.h is going to knock down, then Ender is nothing. But if j.to.h third hit is not going to knock down, then just do one of those 3 things in order to get your knockdown. Okay, so here's like a really janky tier list I made using the tier maker. This is not actually a tier list, so this is just a list of characters that are easy to combo and list of characters that are hard to combo. So out of all the characters in the game, the top Faust, Potemkin, Slayer, Testament, those are the ones the easiest to combo. So against them, life is good. Everything you can think of works, and in the case of Faust, like there's even like some really like special swag combos that do like a bazillion damage to him, involving looping Jump Dust over and over. So those 4 are where just everything works without any effort. After that, there's the next tier, which is minor adjustments needed. So most of these characters are like middleweights, so they're kind of like in the middle or maybe slightly heavy. And so most things work, but you might need to add like a small adjustment to your combo. So for example, like Axel and Order Soul, right? There's something a little bit annoying about them. Like mostly everything works against them, but sometimes if they're in the air, like if they're getting launched in the air, and then you try to do 5s2h, then you need to hit them with that really low in the air. Otherwise, they end up teching out of the 2h, so which is kind of annoying. But that's just one small thing. All right, so the characters in tier 2 are pretty good overall, but there might be like 1 or 2 little rules you have to remember in order to combo them consistently. All right, then tier 3 is the lights. These are mostly light characters. In my opinion, these are a little bit harder to combo than the characters in tier 2. And the reason they're hard is because light characters tend to be more difficult to knock down. And they also tend to have smaller air hitboxes, which causes some problems. But for the most part, the ones in tier 3 aren't that bad. There's like some of them are a little strange, like Jam. Jam, for whatever reason, in the air, she's very, very tall, but she's very, very thin. So that means some things are really easy to land on Jam, while other things are very, very difficult, like unusually difficult. Alright, tier 4 are where there's like actually some problems. So these characters are really, really heavy. Particularly Robo and Abba. Abba's a very, very small hitbox, but she's also heavy at the same time. Against the tier 4 heavy characters, you have to make a lot of adjustments to your combos, and a lot of times that involves either cutting them short so that things hit properly, or you might need to add in some extra hits somewhere, like adding like an extra JP or JS. And then finally, the tier 5, the FML tier. These 3 characters, Baiken, Bridget, Johnny, are just so cursed. These 3 have the most cursed hitboxes in the game for Millia. They have some wonky combination of, weird hitbox and gravity that just makes comboing them a nightmare. Basically, against them, like, if you don't have the pin, like, the chances of you getting a knockdown against these 3 is, like, impossible. Which is really unfortunate. So this would be, like, my opinion of, like, characters that are the easiest to hardest to combo in the game in 5 tiers. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with really, really basic combos. Basic of basics. Here's a combo that works in literally every Guilty Gear version, even Xrd or Guilty Gear X. So, comboing into a sweep. 5S, 5H, 2D. Okay. Now, it's important to note that Millia's sweep has a lot of range. Alright? But even though it has a lot of range, its effective range is very limited, and that's because out of Millia's Gatling tree, she has a very, very limited Gatling tree. The only move that combos into 2H is 5H, which is not really a move used in neutral, and only 2 moves combo into 5H, which is 5S and 2S. So basically, if you want to combo into sweep, you are required to combo into 2 other normals beforehand, so that greatly limits her effective poking range. Okay? Here is a basic combo that works on almost everyone. Alright. And then here is a basic relaunch combo. That was like a really simple combo, right? Here's a basic relaunch combo that works on almost everyone. So this one is going to have j.2h, and then we're going to land, and we're going to relaunch the opponent afterwards. So here's how we do it. Okay. That combo works on pretty much everyone except for Robo. Against Johnny and against Kai, you might have to make some adjustments near the end of it. Like you might have to add in like an extra JS. But yeah, that's a pretty universal combo that works on the vast majority of the casts. Okay, So let's go on to the next series of combos. The next series of combos involve air launches. So these are actually way more practical than the first three, because the first three, like while they're simple, they involve hitting the opponent on the ground with the 5S. Now in a real match, that almost never happens, right? Because for one, most people are not going to let you get close to do that, and you know, if you're up that close, you're probably blocking something, or your opponent's probably blocking. So the more realistic combo is your opponent's getting launched. Most common situation being disc. They get hit by something and they get launched. So these combos all start from like a launch, usually from a successful disc mix-up. So here's a really basic combo that works on a successful disc mix-up. Okay, pretty simple, just a close slash. This works against basically everyone except for Johnny. And if you're fighting against a heavy character like Potemkin or Robokai, then you might need to add like a JP in there. So instead of, you know, j.kh in the star, you do j.pkh. Alright, here's another combo from air launch. Does a little bit more damage. This again works on most characters. However, against light characters like Bridget or May, it can be difficult to get a hard knockdown on them if you don't have pin. So against light characters, my recommendation is, unless you're super confident, then stick to the other combo, the one that just uses the close slash instead of 5S2H. Because this combo can be difficult to get without pin. So then you're probably wondering, you know, like, those two combos, the one that's close slash 2 hits versus 5S2H, like, why would you, like, what's the reason for picking one over the other? And so the reason for that is burst baiting. So the first combo starts with 5S2 hits, and the second combo starts with 5S2H. So the thing is, 5S2 hits is burst safe. So the way it works is 5S is a jump cancelable move. So when you're hitting your opponent with it, what you do is you watch them. And then if you notice your opponent bursts, then quickly jump cancel the 5S and then block the burst, and that gives you a free punish. Okay? Now, unfortunately, the other combo, when you do 5S2H, 5S2H is not burst safe, so the opponent bursts in between, you will not be able to block, and so, you know, the opponent gets away and gets some of the burst meter back. So let me just demonstrate that, even though this is not quite a real match situation. Let's go ahead and make enemy, right? Burst on hit, like that, see? So when you hit them with 5S, you can react to their burst and jump and block it. That wasn't right. Something like that, okay? So that's the reason why I go for the 5S 2 hits. Close slash 2 hits, rather. Okay, now, let's go ahead and do a relaunch combo on a disc hit. Alright. So, you're probably wondering, that combo was long, did more damage, had full corner carry, right? It seems like that combo is amazing, you should always do it, because it really is guaranteed a corner. Like, you can go from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen, it's guaranteed corner carry. This combo works on almost everyone, and it seems like it's amazing, and that you should always be using it, but actually there are times where you shouldn't use it, and that you should use something simpler instead. So, first up, there's something I want to show you guys. Number one, what's the reason that you wouldn't want to do this? Let's take, the first reason is burst. So let's make Soul Burst, and we're going to purposely get hit this time. Alright, now let's go ahead and do the simple combo again, and, oops. We're going to do the simple combo, and I want you guys to pay attention to Soul's burst meter. How much burst does he get? Alright. Why do I keep throwing him? That's really annoying. Okay, hold on. Oh my god, I messed up, sorry. Okay. Okay, so you look at his burst meter. He started out as a B, right? And so now it's filled up to the U. Now let's go ahead and do the fancier combo and see how much burst meter he gets. Alright, you can see it filled up a little more, right? It's like a little more than halfway through the R. Yeah, so the fancier combo, because it lasts longer and it's more hits, it does give your opponent more bursts. Now, against some characters, that's catastrophic. Like, imagine if you play against Potemkin. If you're constantly doing those long, fancy combos against Potemkin, then he's going to be able to burst against you like 2 times every round, which is extremely scary. So it does pay to like go for simpler combos sometimes. The other reason why you do this, let's go ahead and turn off auto burst, is the damage. So, let's not talk about the damage yet. Let's talk about the. It's probably better if I start this in corner. Let's take a look at the distance. Let's do the simple combo first. Okay, you see that? The combo ended, and look at where our position is. We're basically in this position. We did disc. We're right outside of Soul's throw range, and we are in our range of threatening him with a 2K. That's like the prime position, right, for Millia mix-up. Now let's go ahead and do the same combo. Let's do the fancier combo, and then take a look at how our position changes. Oh, I messed up, sorry. Oh my god, look at that. That's awful positioning. Like, we set disc, and disc isn't even in range to touch Soul. We have to, like, walk forward. So basically, in that situation, if we want to do disc, we'd have to do dash disc, which is actually very difficult to do properly. And because you do dash disc, that also means you have less frames to work with. So that's another reason why sometimes you want to go for something a little simpler. Although it's worth mentioning that this is not relevant if you have pin, because if you have pin, then you just do the fancy combo and just do pin instead, and the pin just kind of fixes your positioning. Yeah, so if you have pin, it doesn't matter. You just get the good positioning anyways. But if you don't have pin, then that's something you can think about. And then the last reason is differences in damage. So let's take a look at the damage now. Simple combo first. 111 damage. And if we do the fancier one, oops. $123. It's only about 10 more damage. That's not very significant. So the damage difference between these two really isn't that much. Like, unless you think that extra 10 damage is actually going to like be the difference between you winning the round and like not winning it, then it can be worth going for the fancier one. But really, 10 damage is not that much. Okay, so those are things to think about when going for a shorter combo versus a longer combo. Like, is it worth giving the opponent more burst meter? How important do you think the corner carry is? And do you have pin or do you not have pin to try to get the best possible like post combo positioning? All right, so against like extremely heavy characters like Johnny and Robo. Here's like a slightly modified combo you can use against them. Right. Next, let's go ahead and do throw combos now. So here's the throw combo. This throw combo works on most characters, although some characters like Millia might need some minor adjustments. Okay. So yeah, 5S2H, and then j.h, air-j.h, air-j2H. Against lights, it can be difficult to get a knockdown against them, so you do need pin. Alright. And then next, here is a almost universal throw combo. This works against pretty much every character except for Robokai, I think. This combo, however, requires pin, but it's basically a relaunch combo off throw. Okay, so yeah, from coast to coast. But yeah, again, since that's a relaunch combo and it lasts for a long time, you do need pin to get the knockdown. Especially against light characters, or like wonky characters like Johnny. Alright, so against like really light characters like Millia, Jam, Cliff, then using the standard throw combo is a little inconsistent against them. So here's another combo you can use instead. I messed up. What am I doing? Hold on. My system just lagged there for a second. Yeah, for some reason I'm lagging, sorry. What is going on here? Why am I lagging? There we go. Okay, so for this combo, the secret to making it work is basically throw into dash 5k, right? The secret to making this combo work properly is you need to do a deep dash. So you don't want to do the fastest possible 5 kick. You want to dash for a while and then 5k. So this combo is hard in the standard one because instead of doing dash 5s, you have to do dash 5k. And that does conflict with your inputs, right? Because Millia does have a 6k. So that means when you do your 5k, you want to make sure that you let go of forward and go back to neutral before pressing the K button. And then not only that, since for this combo, yeah, you want a deep dash 5k, so you don't want to press 5k immediately. You want to dash for a little bit farther before pressing K. Yeah, it's a little difficult. There we go. Okay. So that's a variant that works really well against light characters. Specifically, Millia, Jam, Cliff, and Justice. Here's another variant that a lot of people swear by. This one's actually a little more difficult. You still need a deep dash 5k, but you just do a slightly different air string. This is what you do. Hold on, I messed up. What's going on? Yeah, it's a little difficult. Oh, I got that part at least. What's happening? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you do deep dash 5k, but you don't. But you do 5k directly into jump j.pkh and the air dash j.sh. Against super heavy characters like Johnny and Robo, here's a combo you can do of throws that works on them. Alright, next let's take a look at combos that are corner only. So when you hit your opponent in the corner, there's a new option that opens up where you get to combo into S tandem top, which is this move. So the most universal combo for S tandem top is this one. Okay. Works on most characters, and then if you're up against like really heavy characters like Eddie, Kai, then you can go ahead and omit an air dash j.h. So instead of doing, after the j.kh, air dash j.h into air dash j.2h, you would just go straight into air dash j.2h. Okay, and then that combo, if you're fighting against a light character, it's pretty difficult to get knockdowns against them if you don't have a pin. So I would actually recommend against using that combo against light characters, especially if you have no pin. Alright. Against really heavy characters like Johnny and Robo, if you corner them, then this is something you can do. This is a combo you can do for the S tandem top variant. Oops, I messed up. Hold on a second. Why am I messing up? Okay. Some people, here's another alternate combo. Some people swear by this one. So this one's pretty similar, but there's a slight difference. Instead of 5kk, we use 5p and we use j.pkh. This one's harder for me personally. There we go. Yeah, so there's those two variants that work on super heavy characters. Alright, and then now let's talk about corner combos that require some resources. So far slash is Millia's best poke, and if you have meter, then the classic way of spending your resources to maximize damage off it is to combo into the super Emerald Rain. Now unfortunately in this game, Emerald Rain is a very, very, very finicky super. It's actually super annoying to combo into it. Against some characters, you just cannot ever get a real combo off of it mid-screen. So the most consistent way of getting a combo off of it is to hit someone in the corner with it. So comboing off like a 6K or like a far slash poke, this is what you do. Oh, I messed up, sorry. Like that. It's a lot of damage. It's like 207 damage. It's a lot. Okay. Now, because that combo lasts for a long time and the hit count is fairly high, it's fairly difficult to get a knockdown sometimes for the last part where you do the air combo. So if you don't have the pin, you can opt to do something a little simpler like this. Just like that instead. Less damage, right? But at least you get a knockdown that doesn't require a pin. In this version of the game, Millia has a Force Break Longinus, which is like a follow-up to Lust Shaker. And Lust Shaker has a really interesting property. It has different properties depending on whether you hit someone in the corner with it, or whether you hit someone like kind of close to the corner, because then they'll get wall stuck if you hit them as they're kind of close to the corner. So the good thing about this combo, where you combo the Longinus, is you have to go into Lust Shaker. It only costs 25% meter, so spending less meter is good, right? Spending 25 versus 50. So here's what you can do if you're really close to the corner and you land and you hit confirm into Lust Shaker. You can do this. Really simple combo like that. Okay. The other good part of the combo is if your opponent blocks, like let's say your string doesn't actually hit, your opponent blocks it. Well, just imagine Soul's blocking, right? Lust Shaker is actually plus on block, so it allows you to continue pressure. Alright, now let's go ahead and get Soul out of the corner. We'll try to set the other situation where he's kind of close to the corner. Yeah, so if you're kind of close to the corner, then your opponent gets wall stuck instead, so now your follow-up is IAD Jump Dust into an air combo there. Alright. Now, sometimes you'll do a really long block string, and then because of pushback, like it'll be really hard to like, you know, get a good follow-up. So in those cases, there are options. Like if you don't think you can get a follow-up, like you don't think you have enough time to get a follow-up, then you can either just go directly into Secret Garden or just do dash disc. So here's an example. Oh, I messed up. That's not right. Hold on. You can just do that instead. So if you're not confident or you don't think you can possibly get a good follow-up there, just do that instead. Or do this. It gives you enough time to set up Secret Garden.